All right, so start off, thank you, Winnie, for coming today. And you can begin by telling us a little about where you went and what program you're in.
So I went to Hong Kong University in fall 2014. I'm an arts and business student and I'm majoring in psychology.
All right, so can you tell us a little bit about the university and your first impressions of the university itself and the actual city?
Hong Kong University is really different from Waterloo. So in Waterloo, everything's very flat. You know, you have a lot of buildings all over the map. With Hong Kong, everything was built upwards, so it's very because they're really limited on space. So it was really different in that sense because when you go to classes, you're looking for different floors, and you're not necessarily jumping from one side of the campus to the other side of campus. And that was very representative of Hong Kong itself because everything's built upwards. You have a lot of apartment buildings, 30 stories high. So that was the difference between Waterloo and Hong Kong.
Cool, cool. So can you tell us a little bit about your accommodation and did you have any problems with that at all?
So I actually had a little bit of a situation with my accommodation the summer right before I went on exchange. I was working on co-op in the United States and I was notified through email that I didn't have a place to live on residence and I was 217 on the waiting list. So a bit of a tip for students planning to go on exchange: even if you are placed on a waiting list, you usually will get accommodated within the first 2 weeks. So I was contacted like a week and a half in while I was in Hong Kong that I had a place to live. However, I already paid my rent money for where I was, my mom's friend's place. So I didn't take up the offer. But all the exchanges I knew that didn't get a place while going on exchange did eventually find something within the first 2 weeks. So I think it's well worth it if you stayed in a hotel for the first 2 weeks, because you'd be traveling anyways and you'd be in a good place in the city to travel.
Good. So can you tell us a little bit about the activities you did in the first week to get to know the campus and make new friends?
So the day I landed, there was a Facebook event page where all exchanges posted, today I'm doing this, today I'm going to a bar this, and today I'm going to go, to the beach or wherever. And there was an event to go to Victoria Peak. Victoria Peak's like one of the, probably the place to go in Hong Kong. It's up on a mountain and you basically see the whole city and it's just Hong Kong and lights and it's beautiful. So I thought I really wanted to go to that. So right when I landed, I dropped all my bags off at my place and I met up with the exchanges and we went to Victoria Peak. Now when I was at Victoria Peak, I met a couple of friends there and they were like, oh, let's go to a bar. So I was like, okay, I have to make friends, so I'm down for that. Now, I didn't sleep for quite a while now because I was on a 16-hour flight, had to pack the night before. I met really cool people, though, that night, so it was definitely not something I regretted. So I highly recommend anyone going on exchange to take any opportunity there is to meet people, whether it's exchanges or locals. But I had a really good experience.
All right, so now talking about more of the academic side, how was the professors and the evaluation methods at the university?
Really different from Waterloo. So for all your courses, you have tutorials. In the lectures itself, it's actually like a lecture. So the professor walks in, no one talks. He lectures for the 2 hours and he leaves. I had such a rough time the last 2 weeks I was there because everything was due then. So at 4 out of my 5 courses, 80% of my grade was taking place in the last 2 weeks. So it'd be like, here's a 40% essay, final essay, and a week later or a day later and be like, oh, P.S., there's a 40% exam. Whereas in Waterloo, it was more spaced out. You have your midterm and final, or 2 midterms, 1 final, or you had a final essay and that was it. In Hong Kong, it was like, boom.
All
so
at once.
Stay on top of your readings, yeah. All hands on deck.
Okay, so you mentioned a little bit about the traveling you did the first week. Did you do any other traveling, like weekend trips, or did your schedule permit that you could do a little bit traveling midweek or things like that? Where did you go?
So I did a bit of traveling, not too much, but just enough. I went to Malaysia, I went to Thailand, I went to Taiwan, and I went through all places in China. So I got like a Chinese visa to visit different areas of China. Like you find that when you plan these vacations that you do work around your schedule. So it's kind of like when you're joining a club in Waterloo. You come from high school and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much work to do in university. And you think that you wouldn't have time to join anything because you have to study and whatnot. But if you know you have like a meeting for, I don't know, a chess club meeting or cheerleading practice, you kind of work around it like, okay, because I have a meeting tonight at 7, I probably should finish all my work by 6 so I can go to these meetings. It's kind of like the same concept when you're on exchange. You know you're gonna go travel somewhere over that weekend, so you kind of have to do all your readings by Thursday.
Yeah.
So definitely plan all your travels at the beginning of the term and also to just do it. Yeah.
So what would you say your most memorable experience of your whole time over there was?
There's so many memorable experiences. Okay, I went to a food market with a local. Actually, I told Robert Ryan this. He's like international exchange officer. But my friend was like, okay, you have to try street meat. Like, you have to try like Chinese, Hong Kong. Like, you have to go all out while you're here. So he got me this like thing on a stick, and like I'll go into detail what it is after. But you know, he's like, it's just squid, like calamari. Like, you had calamari before in Canada. I'm like, yeah, I have. So I took a bite of it, and he's like, did you know what you just ate? And I was like, what did I just eat? He's like, pig's ear. I'm like, what? I'm like, people eat that? Like, but that was a really memorable experience because had he told me while I was eating it, I probably would have spat it out. But because he told me after, and like I was, you know, in your head, you're like, it's just calamari. Like, I've always, like, it's just calamari, right? Like, on a stick, that's the only difference, and you're in a market. But, you know, I had pig ear. So I was in Hong Kong.
All right, so last question. How would you say this trip changed you for overall outlook of the world or just academics-based?
And definitely made me a much open person. So before going on exchange, I'm one of those people that would be like, I would never stay in a hostel, you know, it has to be clean, you know, like towels provided and everything. But you go on exchange and you meet wonderful people, like really different people from all over the world. And you're just more open to it because you're doing new things together. So yeah, I did the hostels, I did the scuba diving, I did the cliff jumping. Funny story, we went on a hike to Sai Kung, which is like the more rural part of Hong Kong. So we hiked 4 hours just to get to this cliff so we could jump off into water, right? And you know, like I got injured before I even went cliff jumping, which was like a huge bummer to me because I was like, I hiked 4 hours for this. So I get there and I don't know, I had like a huge scab on my knee because I fell on algae. But I jumped anyways with a bloody ankle. So yeah, so it just makes you a really open person. Like things you would think you wouldn't do, you end up doing while you're on exchange. You meet cool people from all over the world. Like I'm still connected in all forms of social media. So that's like Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, everything with all the friends I've made on exchange. And it's really cool because you know that somehow in the future you might meet up with them when you travel. So that was a really interesting aspect of exchange, just meeting people local and international.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks for joining us today, and I'm glad you enjoyed your trip. Bye.